food.
I'm already eating.
I know, I'm starving.
We set this up like 15 minutes ago, and we've been doing things like Maddie's been feeding India, Kenzie's been doing things, and I've been sitting here by myself like staring at this. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Hey.
Today we are doing a mukbang. Yeah. We are just gonna sit here and eat and chat with you guys about mom things and treating yourself to yummy food and different things like that. But we were filming today and we were all starving, especially Maddie, because she has big news.
I'm pregnant! Baby number 2, guys.
So as we were getting ready to film, she was like, wait, we need a break. I'm starving, I need food. And we're
It's
like,
a real thing. You all know pregnancy.
Oh yeah.
So we were like, let's do a mukbang. So here we are.
Yeah, we just wanted to bring you guys to the table so you feel like you're sitting down eating with us.
Grab
We're
some
just having a casual conversation.
Yeah.
So
Eat with us.
grab some snacks while we do this, because I don't know about you, but if I saw someone eating this delicious food,
I'm already eating.
I know, I'm starving.
We set this up like 15 minutes ago, and we've been doing things like Maddie's been feeding India, Kenzie's been doing things, and I've been sitting here by myself like staring at this. We got Mexican food for lunch. I got
best food.
cheese enchiladas,
I got chicken enchiladas.
and she got cheese enchiladas too. And then we have chicken nachos and chips and salsa.
It's so yummy. This is just from a local Mexican restaurant here in my town.
Like the authentic ones, you know.
It's
One
yummy.
of like what, 6 restaurants in my whole town, if we even have 6.
Yeah.
But it's super, super yummy. So that's what we're eating. Honeybee, I got a kid coming in behind me.
Tiny bee.
Grab a snack, some granola bars with dad, and then go watch your movie.
Poor tiny bee.
Okay.
Just laughing.
Really quick though, just to fill you guys in, we're about 14 weeks along.
That's crazy.
We find out June 5th if it's a boy or a girl, and due date is November 7th. So we're super
You're gonna be born on my
excited.
birthday, I'm calling it right now.
Well, due date's November 14th, but if I do another
Oh,
C-section, they'll do November 7th. But
Close times.
haven't made up my mind yet if we're doing a C-section or not. We're gonna wait a few months.
Yeah, just see how everything goes.
Take it day by day.
Listen to your doctor, because they know better than we do, you know.
Do you think it's a boy or a girl?
Well, I think it's a boy. But everything I read, Chinese calendars and everything says girl. So I know it's gonna be a girl. So I don't know.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
How many of you have looked at a Chinese calendar or the Mayan calendar for your pregnancies or your kids and they were right?
Or wrong.
Or yeah, let us know.
What was yours?
4 of my 5 were right.
What
Who
one
was wrong?
Cohen.
How many did you look at?
Bunch of them.
And they all said girl. See, that's how I am. I've looked at like 15 in the Mayan calendar and they all say girl.
Really?
So I'm just like, oh, it has to be a girl.
Well, and you know, I was already convinced that Cohen was a girl. So with everything else, and it had always been 100% right for me.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this later, but I just had a deep feeling like in my heart. I knew before I got pregnant, if I ever had a 5th child, it would be a 2nd girl.
Yeah.
I just felt like I knew that. And so it was so weird for me to find out he was a boy. I can't imagine him being a girl now because he's so perfect and just what I needed.
Oh, yeah.
And like the perfect bookend to our family. But I was so off. I was so off with
The
him.
perfect addition to our family.
He's
I was saying with Leo, it was hard because
Oh yeah.
the calendars we look at is when you conceive. And it was like the last 2 weeks of August that we were like, we think he was conceived at, and that's my birthday. So I was like, was I this age or this age? Because the calendars are totally different for each one. And so it's hard to say.
That's true, that's hard.
I know, it's so hard.
I know, her
Because I don't know the
situation was
exact
different.
date that Leo was created. You know?
Could have been any day of the week.
Seriously.
Pick a day.
India
Is that funny?
Cody's taking India. She thinks it's funny.
Bye.
Good night, he said.
Good night. Good luck.
But today we were thinking we could kind of discuss
Sorry, I want nachos.
mom guilt. And like everything that comes with feeling guilty for like taking any time, money, anything for yourself. Let us know if you're a mother and you feel that way, because all 3 of us are like that. Like, you guys, I can't buy myself a shirt without like feeling deeply guilty and being like, I should be spending this money on my kids.
It's crazy.
It's
Like, why do we feel that way? Because obviously we know we're deserving of it. Like, I think it's just because we value our kids so much.
well, and we just feel like it's our job to take care of them. So when you're doing something for yourself, you're like, am I being selfish?
Yep.
And not only that, but I think this goes back to our previous real talk when we talked about mom shaming. You're afraid of what other people are gonna think. Like, are people gonna judge me for doing this for me? And I see it so much with like big family vloggers, and it breaks my heart. Like, they'll go on a trip without their kids, and people are so mean about it. And they're like, you know what? Like, I needed some time, and then because of that time, I can come home and be a better mom.
Yeah.
Because
You
I'm
still have to
rested.
be a spouse.
Yeah, because I'm rested, I'm patient, I miss my kids, so then I'm not gonna be short-tempered. Like, I don't know.
See, and I'm okay with that. Like, mine and Ryan's map of the U.S. Like, we have said, like, obviously if our kids are with us, awesome, but like, that's mine and his marriage goal. Like, we want to go to all 50 states. Like, sometimes the kids won't be with us, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think though, like looking back on our childhood, our parents would take us on vacations here and there, like when they could and when we planned it and stuff. But for the longest time, they went on cruises, just the two of them, almost every year. And that was just something we grew up seeing. Like, oh, this is mom and dad time. Like,
Well, and not only that, but those are some of like my best memories, because it was like party week for the siblings.
fun
Like, I don't know.
babysitter with sleepovers.
It was so fun. Like, yeah, we get to watch movies and have snacks and do things
Sleep
we
in the
probably
living room.
do things we probably couldn't
Build
do
a
if mom and
vault
dad were
with
home.
all the pillows and mattresses in the house. Yeah, I remember that.
So like, coming from like the kids' perspective, I never once thought that my mom was being selfish.
No.
Ever. If anything, I was like, heck yeah, see you, mom. Peace out.
Caribbean, who cares? I have the housemaid for that.
I don't know. It's a hard thing.
I was thinking, I don't think we put it in our last video when I mentioned it. Mom guilt that I have about working. Did we put that in there? I don't think we did.
I don't know, but I have one to go along with that.
I can't remember if I've already mentioned this in a video.
I'm like,
You're fine.
But mom guilt that I have personally is working. Because my job is considered full-time, but it is very flexible, which is nice. And Steve and I are fortunate where I don't necessarily have to work, but I choose to work. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the people I work with. I really enjoy what I do. That when I do go into the office 2 days a week, I feel so guilty. I'm like, I'm away from Leo. And he's with either with Steve or my mother-in-law, which he adores both of them. So I know he's well taken care of.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I feel guilty. Like, why is that such a big thing? Because, for example, like, I don't know, stay-at-home parents, they don't feel, or yeah, I guess it is mom shaming. Like, they don't feel guilty, like, because they're staying home and taking care of the kids. But on the other hand, they can feel guilty for not providing income and things like that.
Totally.
That it's like one way or the other, you would feel guilty.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, as women and mothers, we do that.
Yeah. It's like, you can't win.
No.
Kind of what I mean.
Because we've talked about me like not working and staying home, and just the idea of me like not providing financially, like I feel guilty, and I'm like, why do I feel guilty working, but why would I feel guilty not working?
I remember talking to you about that before you ever became a mom. Like, it's such a weird feeling. You don't think you'll ever feel that way, but it is just like, especially when your husband is at work and you want to go do something fun with the kids that cost money. You're like, okay, my husband is like physically working hard right now, and I'm just partying with the kids, spending the money he's making. And I know, like, don't get me wrong, it's our money.
yes.
I'm doing a lot of hard work here at home.
A lot harder work. Sorry.
It's true.
So,
It's true.
It's not like I feel like I'm being lazy or not doing anything, but it does make me feel like, I'm spending money doing fun things when he's working.
See, mine
You know what I
was-
mean? It's kind of,
Mine was I stayed home for 6 months, the first 6 months of her life, and I loved it. I love her. But I got bored. Like, I don't mean that rude, but like, Ryan would come home after a long day, and he'd just want to sit. And I'm like, no, I need to get out of the house.
You're a goer though.
I need to go. And so I went back a lot, and this could definitely be like feeling guilty. I went back for me, like no one else, but
Good
I
for
went
you,
back.
Yeah.
I went back because I'm like, I need to be doing something or I'm gonna
I
go
need to talk to
crazy.
other adults.
But I have the last 2 weeks since I started school, I have felt guilty when I am at school or doing homework. I don't know why that's different than work. especially because I'm like, that really will benefit my kids in the long run.
I was just gonna say, but how crazy you feel guilty about doing something that's so good.
Yeah.
Like,
And such a good example for them.
Going to school and furthering your education and knowledge, like, it's crazy that you can feel guilty for doing that. Yeah.
Which India has no idea that you're doing that now. She could care less.
Well,
And you still feel guilty.
when I had someone tell me that when I went back to work, because it's hard not seeing her all the time, but one of the employees I work with told me, she said it's a lot better to work now when she won't remember than when she's a teenager in high school, because that's where she's at. She has 3 teenagers and she's now full-time working.
Yeah.
And she said, I loved being home when they were kids, but I would have much rather worked my tail off and been home with them now. And I was like,
that makes
I
sense.
almost feel like
When
they
they can
need
remember.
you more.
They do.
too.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it's like they come home with a problem.
They don't want to talk to anyone else about it
What
but
are
mom
they
and
gonna
dad.
do if they don't have someone? I don't know.
Oh.
And it's so hard because some people don't have a choice. You have to work when your kids are teenagers. So it's not like
Yeah.
we're guilting or mom shaming anyone for that.
No.
But it's such a crazy, like,
Well, and the 3 of us
complex
the 3
topic.
of us have been so blessed with our parents and our in-laws being so close.
Yeah.
Where we've been able to go back to work and we don't have to worry about childcare, which is
It's
such a
huge.
blessing.
Yeah.
And so I know, like, so grateful for that. Can't ever say it enough how grateful I am to have my in-laws and my parents so close, because I know that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Childcare is so expensive.
Well, that's a huge reason why one of the parents don't return to work is
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense financially.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
me. The only time I went back to work when I had children was when I was pregnant with Carter. Well, I
You
went
had
back to
Carson,
work after Dakota was born. I was still going to school when he was born. I graduated when he was like 5 months old. And then I was working and then worked throughout my pregnancy with Carson. And like Maddie said, so fortunate because Dakota was only ever with my mom, my mother-in-law, Shelby, or Maddie.
Yep.
Like,
so fortunate.
and I'm kind of weird that way anyway. Like, I hate my kids being with anyone except crazy
Family.
close friends and
Me
family.
too.
Like, I'm kind of OCD that way. That's why I never get a babysitter, hardly ever. But I don't know. It was such a long time ago, and I still remember just thinking, like, I would get a text or a video of Dakota doing something and just crying, like, I'm missing this. I don't know. It's hard.
My biggest fear is she's gonna walk when I'm not there. That is my biggest fear. But I'm like, she's not close. I'm good. Because when this one comes, I have told her I'm done. Like, I'm not going back. Because I work online in the morning before she's awake, and I'll continue to do that as long as I can. But like actually going
Into work.
into work, I think we'll be done with this one.
Yeah.
Which I know will be hard for me because I am
Social butterfly.
maybe I'll pick up some hobbies. Any hobbies, send them my way. I'm not a hobby person.
What are your guys' biggest mom guilt or like any guilt in your life
Yeah.
that's so dumb, but it's so big to you?
Yeah, it like emotionally affects you, but then when you break it down and think about it, you're like, why am I feeling guilty for this?
Seriously.
I don't know.
And how do you overcome it?
Yeah, what do you guys do? Like, how do you stop feeling guilty for things?
Because I'm like happy and in a good mood on my way to work in the car all alone, and I'm like, why am I having a good time? And then I'm like, why am I not having a good time?
Yeah, why
Like,
can't
it's
I have a
the
good
weirdest
time?
thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's almost kind of like that thing that people who are going through grief feel. Like when a family member or a loved one passes away, and like the first time they smile or laugh again, and
They feel guilty.
immediately they're like, I can't smile or laugh anymore because that person isn't here.
Yep.
But then they start thinking about like, no, like
They'd want me to be happy.
they'd want me to be happy. Like it's just such a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Crazy stuff, guys.
I think kind of on that same hand, and this is heavy, that
here we
I'm
go.
about to mention, is moms that have struggled with any type of infertility. I feel like sorry, I don't know, I'm getting emotional. I feel so guilty anytime I have like a negative reaction in my mind or like the slightest complaint in my mind about being a mom, because we did struggle with infertility for the longest time. That I feel like families and women that struggle with infertility, you have it in your minds that you can never complain, you can never vent.
You just have to be grateful all
Yes.
the time.
And that's like something that I struggle with, not all the time, not a lot, but a few times I've like went to tell Steve like it was kind of a tough day, and I like stopped myself because I'm like, all I ever wanted was tough days, that I'm not allowed to say that. And I think that's also unfair.
That is unfair. You
Totally.
deserve it.
Because you know, women that have never struggled with kids, that were so blessed to get kids right when they wanted them, they're able to say like, today was kind of tough.
Yeah.
And they're okay saying that and talking about it and feeling better about it. So I know for a fact I'm not the only woman that's dealt with infertility that feels guilty about having negative thoughts like, it was hard, or
Seriously.
why am I not doing this well?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? And I feel like because I should just feel grateful that I shouldn't have room to do that. So I feel like that's another huge mom guilt for some women.
Yeah, I can totally see that. But
You know?
on the same hand, it's like, even though you struggled and worked so hard to get Leo here, you're still experiencing the same challenges and hardships of motherhood. So it's like,
That's true.
you are totally allowed to feel all the emotions and feelings that come with motherhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take anything away from your journey to get him here. It's just like, this is where I'm at now. These are my emotions, and I'm allowed to feel them.
And
You
I
know?
feel, and that's the hard part, is because, and I've been so open and honest with my sisters about this, but when we were trying so hard to have our own family, and like on social media, I would see certain people complain about like, I woke up at 3 a.m., my kid was sick, and then they missed the school bus, and so I had to drive him to school, and it was just such a hard day, I'm going back to bed, no one talked to me, or something, like just so negative, which is totally fine. A lot of people do it on social media. But I would tell my sisters, like, I would do anything to wake up to a kid at 3 a.m. and clean up their mess and drive them to school. Like, I would do anything.
Yeah.
That, like, looking back on those things, I'm like, I can't be that woman that's complaining because someone else is in the shoes that I was in. So it's such a weird
It is.
feeling.
It's like a double-edged sword.
It is.
But I honestly think, and I don't know, some people might think I'm crazy for this.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Mom's coming to join us.
Some people might think I'm crazy for saying this because I know that like the mental health world is still so like newly being talked about openly and publicly, which I feel like, gosh dang, why couldn't it have been more openly talked about when we were like teenagers, you know?
No kidding.
Because it was like, I feel like so many emotions, and like our parents were unbelievable, but I feel like so many emotions I had, I would always feel guilty and like, why am I feeling this? I have a great life. Why am I feeling so sad? Or why am I don't know. But something that I've been listening to on a few podcasts, because one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, the two women who host it, they're so big on therapy. And they're like, we're not saying that you need to go to therapy because you have some like huge life crisis or major family drama. They're like, it is just so good and healthy.
I was gonna
to
say,
like,
I'll go to therapy.
Right? Like it's just no, and it's just so good to talk through your feelings. But something they always say is like, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like if you feel pissed off that day, feel pissed off, but then like think to yourself, why am I feeling this way? How can I make it better? Feel it, put it down,
Yep.
move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I like that.
Yeah. So I feel like with mom guilt, think that, why am I feeling this way? Talk yourself through it, put it down, walk away, like move on. You know? I don't know.
And I think we've said this a million times. We're all stronger than we think we are.
Totally.
And
Depends on the day.
that if you are, I think if you are dealing with something that you feel guilty about, typical mom guilt, like Kenzie said, break it down and like figure out what you can do, because you are stronger than you think. And just, I don't know, it's hard.
Oh yeah, Mom called me on Monday and goes, talking to me, and I just got so upset and was like, I haven't cleaned my house today. I'm still in my pajamas. It's 5 o'clock. Like, what am I doing with my life? And then Ryan gets home and I'm just laying in bed. I'm like,
She just choked on her
and
water.
I'm like, I'm laughing so hard. And he got so mad at me, like, are you kidding me? Like, your life is so good. And I'm like,
I'm
my
dying.
house is a mess. And he just was like, if this is your biggest problem.
Seriously.
Well, and it's
Like,
and
I know.
Why were you feeling that way? Because you were feeling guilty for having a messy house.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But like Ryan said, like if that's your biggest problem,
Yeah.
you are so blessed.
Yeah.
I think that's how we should look at mom guilt. Like if my biggest problem is concerned, like that I'm going to work versus not going to work, I'm pretty dang blessed,
Oh,
because
yeah.
so
So
many
lucky.
people have it so much worse.
yeah.
So much worse.
I know. And my heart just breaks for people who do have it.
So I think that's a good solution. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks,
If
babe.
you're feeling guilty, just think, like, is this the biggest problem in my life?
Yeah.
Because
He says good things sometimes.
we appreciate you, Ryan.
We do appreciate you, right?
My throat still hurts from just almost dying.
Like, and you can totally imagine me.
Okay, you guys know that Kim Kardashian like picture gif where she's like laying on the couch with the blanket out here?
Yeah.
That's how I envision Maddie. Just like
Like up in here, just like.
Poor India. Who knows? She was doing something. I really am a good mom.
Easy
She's
going.
well, and she'll just go. And like we've baby-proofed the house, so nothing she can get in can hurt her.
Maddie's like, I'll lay in bed, go outside.
So she just goes. And I go out and she's just happy.
Perfect.
Like, she has to have a friend because she just laughs to herself. And I know there's no way she's laughing like alone. But I'm like, well, now there's a ghost in my house. So it's fine. It's fine.
My house is a disaster. And there's a ghost here.
Mom guilt.
Oh my gosh. This is good.
I downed it.
Yeah, my plate's like,
I had one more enchilada than both of you. So
you have one more person you're feeding now. Mom, what's your biggest mom guilt you had?
yeah, Mom, what's a mom guilt you have?
She's eating her chips and sauce back there, so she's gonna talk to us. She doesn't want to be behind the camera.
She can be with you guys.
She just got off work. And she thinks she doesn't look good, but she looks
What's a
beautiful.
mom guilt you
curled
had,
and
like
cute.
us growing up or now?
I think just not wanting you to miss out. So I would do whatever it took so you could do everything everyone else was doing.
And they
That's true.
did
And they did.
whatever it took. We actually, it's in one of my videos on our
A
vlog
Christmas.
channel, a Christmas. We all 5 of us kids pitched in to get my dad a new gun. What kind of gun was it?
A rifle, right? A rifle.
Oh, I know it's a rifle, but I don't know.
I don't
anyway,
know.
we all pitched in to buy my dad this new gun because my brother was like, I'm so mad that because my dad always told him that he took it to a blacksmith to fix some things on it, and the guy just ended up keeping it and never gave it back to my dad. So my little brother, he was talking
My
to my
dad
mom.
used to have this gun.
Yeah, my dad used to have this gun. So my brother was talking to my mom about Christmas, and he said, I think we should all get dad a new gun because that jerk took dad's gun and never gave it back to him. And
Years
so,
and years ago.
Yeah, and so this was probably 12 years after the fact, maybe 10 years. And so my mom finally opened up and said, Bud, the blacksmith never took his gun and didn't return it. He said, your dad went and pawned that gun so that he could take you to a wrestling tournament. And it was like an out of town, probably out of state wrestling tournament. But you guys, my parents literally did
Everything.
everything they possibly could to make sure that we never missed out on anything. And we didn't.
No.
We
And
never missed out on.
they never told us. Like, it's not
No,
like
we never knew.
and it's not like they ever said, well, we did this for you. Never. We
Well,
never knew.
And you know what I'm thinking about right now? That story I just told you is the only story we know. I'm sure there's
Oh, yeah.
hundreds of look
Mom.
at her smiling. I'm sure there's hundreds of stories just like that we don't know about because they never went and did this and were like, you should be grateful. I just did this for you. They just never told us.
We should link that video here because of that Christmas.
emotional.
Because it's emotional. My dad kind of breaks down and Matt gives him the gun and
Yeah,
it
it's,
kind of breaks down.
it's a sweet moment. Or even if we could just put, I don't know.
We'll link it. We'll try to link it.
Yeah, because it was a special moment to our whole family. So
Well, and as I've gotten older and now have a baby, and granted she's a year old, but I think of so many times growing up, I'm like, middle school and high school, I just ran in and was like, Dad, I need money, I'm going out with friends, and he would just hand me a 10 or a 20, and I never once thought that could have been his last one in his wallet, but he would have never told me.
No. And
you know? And I'm like, why didn't I have a better understanding
yeah,
than
and it's not
awareness?
like our parents just had money to freely give all the time. Like our parents have both always been such hard workers our whole lives. Like they both still work full time as grandparents, but it's not like they just had the money to freely give, but they always did. And not just to us kids, but to anyone else they could help out. So that's pretty cool that we grew up seeing that.
I remember one year, this is like turning into a mom and dad video and I like it. One year we were all we cheered for the same team and we were going to Disney World for cheer nationals. And my parents have always been this way and I told you guys this is who I get it from. They give the shirt off their back to anyone and they could freeze to death. They don't care. And so at the time my dad's business was doing really well and instead of taking that money and spending it on themselves or saving it or doing whatever they wanted to, they not only paid for the two of us to go to Disney
To
World.
go to Orlando.
I didn't go.
They also paid for how many kids total to go?
3 others, right?
They paid for 3 other kids to go to Disney World that were on our cheer team.
Like
that their
flights,
families couldn't
hotel,
afford.
park tickets.
And then on top of that, when we were in Disney World, we went to downtown Disney and watched a Circus Olay show. And the tickets were like $80 a pop. And they bought a total of 13 tickets. So that no kid on our team was left out.
Well, yeah,
Like
and I remember my mom just saying that. She's like, no, I'm not going to have half the team go to the show. And then there'd be kids that can't afford it that are left out. So, yeah, again, probably did not have the money for that, but they just went and paid for make sure our whole team could go to the show together.
And our team was so grateful.
So grateful.
And like that's just such a big lesson to us as moms now that
Well, and it's cool. And I was just thinking it could kind of sound bad, like our parents just gave us stuff
Yeah, no.
that we were like spoiled and ungrateful, but that's not the case at all. They made sure that we always were hard workers.
Always.
And I think the biggest reason that we were such hard workers is because we just watched our parents. You know what I mean?
Well, all of us had jobs in high school.
Kids just mimic what their parents do. So yeah, the second we had cars, we were all working.
Yep.
All of us.
Worked through high school, all 3 of us.
Yeah, so I don't know, awesome stuff, guys.
Anyway,
So full.
don't feel guilty.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't lay in your bed and cry when your house is a mess.
and when you have a house ghost.
Just be happy. Invite the ghost in. It's probably nice.
Probably.
Probably nice.
If not,
Let's hope it's
you're
not.
gonna be the next horror movie.
Okay,
Let's go hide behind Maddie's couch. Ooh. Michelle
We'll be
will
talking
listen.
to Indy.
I still.
She would go pygmy goat.
Here's the thing.
We should do that in film.
I was home alone yesterday. Ryan gets home and he goes, "Well, were you scared?" I was like, "Yeah, every door was shut and locked and all the blinds were shut." I was scared. I still to this day get
She
scared.
lives in like one of the safest neighborhoods too.
Well, at least you're not in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I still get scared, and then I hear like little noises, and I'm like, "Oh no, here we go."
I need to stop drinking with Maddie's
It's
dog.
going down.
Okay, this is the perfect example to how Maddie is when something
No, this
scary
was
happens.
real. I know what you're gonna say.
No, you don't, because it happened yesterday. And you were there.
Oh, okay.
But so, tell that after.
Okay.
But we were at Coda's baseball game, and my brother Jed started like running at Carson, my 6-year-old. And you know how it's like fight or flight. You're either gonna like start fighting or you're gonna sprint. Carson fell over on his back and just was like, no. And we all said, "There's Maddie."
No. I don't need to
Person's your
get into
spirit
this
animal.
on the vlog, but that time I called you. In high
Oh
school.
yeah, I remember.
That was real. I know. You guys, listen. I don't know how to explain a house, but you walk into our old house and you turn, and there's a
Explain
kitchen, and then off the kitchen is a mudroom with its own door. Okay, so I was sitting in the kitchen table, and there was someone in the mudroom, and I was home alone, and I know. So I just sprinted dead hall down the hall, like as fast as I could down the hall. Shut mom and dad's door, locked it, called Kenzie and said,
I was
"There's
on
a
a
man
date."
in our house." Well, she comes home and all that was on
There
the
was-
front porch was the
It was
shovel.
an old like metal decorative shovel. So I grabbed the shovel, kicked the front door open.
That vintage shovel.
Oh,
I had it on my shoulder and I came in like screaming like, "If someone's in here, I'm gonna kill you!" And Maddie's like, I'm glad though, because you were a young teenager, so you
No,
do
so-
hide or
I
you
know
get out of the
something was
house.
in there.
You didn't find anyone?
No, they ran because they knew I was scared.
There was no one there,
You
but
knew Maddie was there.
I was ready to protect my little sister.
I love how she says, "I don't know how to explain the house, but the house went like this." As you explain
Oh, because
now.
I see it so perfectly in my head, but I know it made no sense to you.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Our food's gone, and we've talked about the most random things from house ghosts to our parent sacrifices to Maddie being pregnant.
Pregnancy break.
Everyone leave a comment down below congratulating Maddie and letting us know, 1, if you think it's boy or girl, and 2, if you have mom guilt, and 3, how you overcome it.
Yes.
So you have
And
3 things.
we're gonna be a lot better at responding to comments.
I know.
We have kind of been super sucky at that lately, and we apologize. There's
We
been a
see them
lot
and
going
we're
on.
like, "Oh, did you see that comment?
We
That was so
do.
nice."
We are gonna. I'm making it my goal because I miss comments so bad on my channel that I'm like, I'm gonna be grateful for the
Yes.
comments we're getting. And we're coming to respond to all of you guys. So please
Yes.
comment down below. We love you guys.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Is recording? Honey, holy shit, is Kate give her some more chicken nuggets.
Thank you,
Say
Cody.
Cody.
Okay.
We got big news.
Cody, maybe you should
You should go.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
We got chicken, Mama. Oh, we have a lot more chips and salsa. We left
We
you
got a
like
large.
a little bit,
Large chips and salsa.
and I'm not taking it home.